Deputy General Secretary is here as well with us, as well as our Deputy National Youth Organizer. Ladies and gentlemen, without much time to waste, I will call on the National Youth Organizer of the New Patriotic Party to bring us the issues as we're going to have them. And remember, it is focused on the development of this country, but not exercising mediocrity. Thank you so much, and thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, my brother Kamal Dean. And then also on behalf of the NPP leadership, I would want to welcome you here. And we also extend our appreciation to you. It was short notice though, but you made it here, and that is why you're a strategic partner. Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. President Akufo-Addo has successfully completed his two-day tour of the Volta region. The extremely warm reception he received in what is historically the NDC's World Bank is what has shocked and destabilized the opposition NDC. So much that they bought airtime all across the country yesterday to do what they do best: play the hate card with their bogus list of President Akufo-Addo's government and the ties of the people who have been appointed. The people of the Volta region, by their embrace of Akufo-Addo and the NPP going into 2020, is to say John Mahama and his National Democratic Congress that 2020 is Volta beyond NDC. And that is a declaration. The region, with its beautiful landscape, but economically sidelined for generations, is saying enough is enough. Volta region is deliberately weaning itself of its ancient dependency on the NDC. NDC has not aided the region. John Mahama and his party has only raided the place every 4 years, only for votes, and not aided such a beautiful region with development. A political dependency that has kept schools underperforming, their roads bad, their young people unemployed, and their 3 decades of loyalty to NDC unappreciated and comprehensively abused. This is why every day more and more people from the Volta region are saying 2020 is Volta beyond the NDC. On behalf of the National Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, we wish to thank the good people of the Volta region for their heartfelt reception. Our special thanks also goes to the traditional leaders. The people are warm to NPP today because they know that against all propaganda, His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of Ghana's Armed Forces has not discriminated against them. Indeed, our own party people in the region has expressed concerns over the decision by the President to hand over the constitutional powers to appoint MMDCs to the people to vote directly for their own MMDCs under whichever party colors they want. This means that the era of winner takes all can be put behind us. Such a selfless, non-partisan, patriotic gesture from the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. This indeed has made Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo a true national leader. It is this national fever for a second term for His Excellency the President and the NPP and the NPP that is disturbing the John Dramani Mahama's bid. Indeed, the people people of the Volta region also have their children going to secondary school free. Indeed, out of the 1.2 million students currently enjoying free senior high school, it is estimated that 100,000 of these numbers are from Volta region. They saw how collapsed the NHIS affected their people, and now they are enjoying improved national health insurance scheme after the NPP cleared the over 1 billion debt. Farmers in Volta region are a major beneficiary of the Planting for Food and Jobs policy. They have seen some of their young graduates being enrolled on NAPCO. And I keep saying that as the national youth organizer, NAPCO is a life-saving policy. NAPCO is a life-saving policy. They have seen how the lowest inflation rate since 1992 is helping workers and families keep better the value of their money in their pockets. This is the change the nation voted in 2016. And this is the change that the 16 regions of Ghana are planning to maintain and improve upon. This is because we are first to admit that there is a lot more work ahead of us. Ghana needs a president who enjoys doing the job, not one who enjoys just the trappings of the office, as we saw under President John Dramani Mahama. Ladies and gentlemen, the paramount chief of the Aflao traditional area, Togbi Amenya Fiti V, showed honesty in leadership when he applauded the effort of the NPP in clearing the mess caused by John Mahama to stabilize the economy today. It is this stable environment that will propel Ghana to higher heights of job, more social welfare, and prosperity. Like we say, the next general elections is about Vision 2020. It is not for those who have no vision. Let us use this opportunity to ask Ghanaians to ask themselves a simple but very, very important question. Perhaps the most important question for 2020. What does John Dramani Mahama stand for? What does he believe in? What is his vision? At least in Akufo-Addo, the Ghanaian people know what he stands for and has been consistent in what he stands for throughout his political life. In the year 2008, he promised free secondary school. He stuck to this in the year 2012. He stayed on course to 2016. And in 2017, September, he delivered the free SHS promise. He campaigned on Ghana's industrialization and adding value to our natural resources. Today, he has set up the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation to add value to Ghana's 1 billion tons of bauxite. It is this same bauxite that John Dramani Mahama, the former president, signed away to his younger brother, Ibrahim Mahama, 1 week before NPP took office. President John Dramani Mahama gave 80% of Ghana's bauxite reserve, valued at least $200 billion, to his brother. Please listen carefully. Over 200 billion of our national assets was simply handed over to one person, who is the younger brother of the president, who dashed it. It was simply dashed to him just before leaving office. At the expense of Ghanaians, and it took the new government and the Supreme Court in a unanimous decision to show what John Dramani Mahama did was purely illegal. The records are there to show. Now we are experiencing a single-digit inflation. We have reduced interest rates. We have used the past 2 years to fill the pit that was dug by the NDC and built a solid foundation for major economic takeoff in the coming years. As usual, we challenge the doubting Thomases in the clueless NDC to come forward with credible facts if they want to engage in discerning discourse. We don't want any boot for Chalewate banter. We have grown past that politics. We need to up our game. Ghanaians are fed up with their street and empty banter by the MDs, NDC, aimed at just filling the space. Friends of the media, while the government is busy solving the numerous mess the NDC created during their reign, the NDC yesterday took a break from their visionless manifesto search, hunting expedition to throw out dust into the eyes of Ghanaians. Ghana deserves a serious and a credible opposition, not the NDC. Politics is a serious business. The NTC knows that they have nothing to contribute to the competition of ideas and performances. So, they want to reduce the 2020 campaign to one of playing tribal politics and their bogus list of family ties. What the NDC is doing is clear. They want to play the discredited Ashanti versus Achim card, accounts versus non-accounts card. It is a hopeless and irresponsible agenda by the opposition party that is empty of ideas and empty of performance. The tagged family and friends, ladies and gentlemen, we need to remind you of this, originated not from the NPP. The tagged friends and family originated from the NDC. You recall that Honorable Albin Babin, MP for Nadolio Kalio, revealed how Mohammed's government was not that of the NDC, but his friends and family. That was when the tagged family and friends became popular in Ghana. The current chairman, Elder Ofosu Ampofo, on Peace FM show on 23rd August 2017, stated emphatically, and we have it here, the proof is here, you can all check it. So I was wondering whether their communications officer consulted their national chairman when he was making those frivolous, unsubstantiated claims yesterday. On 23rd August 2017, Elder Ofosu Ampofo stated emphatically that he is a strong believer of family and friend style of government because Ghanaians are the ones who are going to get the jobs, not foreigners. No contribution, no job. And just today, a stalwart in the NDC, another senior person, former chairman in the Central Region, Chairman Alote Jacobs, said today on Peace FM that what happened yesterday was needless and it was useless. Rather, the NDC should go to the ground and go and work. And that will not work for them as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not here to equalize, but to set the record straight. We can also come out with a tall list, indeed, a tall list of people and their relations in the erstwhile John Mahama's government. Yes, there is such a tall list, but we think it will be too cheap and unproductive. Ghanaians want to have alternative ideas to issues confronting them and not a competition of friends and family lists. Out of the 51 names they put out, over 33 of them have no real family ties with the president. Some of the family members mentioned are not members of the government, even though they are known members of the New Patriotic Party. To name the only brother of the president and say Edward Akufo-Addo is the right-hand man of his brother is as profound as saying that Accra is the capital city of Ghana. Of course. It's no news. You have said nothing. Should Mumuni Bawumia have resigned from the Ministry of Interior as a civil servant because his brother's party, NPP, won the 2016 elections? Let's get serious. Why have a problem with Prince Sefa and Olivia Korte being appointed because they are friends of Eslewusu? This is just a joke. We need to be serious. It should not matter what they are, but they are known die-hard NPP members. They have worked tirelessly. They are competent. And today, where they are, they deserve it. NDC had issues with 11 people on their list. Of 51 people, those are friends of Ken Ofori-Atta. Please, tell them that we are not sure about appointing enemies. All jokes aside, are those 11 who are not family members, not competent and qualified to serve? One would have thought that yesterday's press conference would have revealed how unqualified some of these appointees are, but none of them, or none of the issues we are discussing here happened yesterday. Is Kelly Gajapu not qualified to be on the board? What about Daniel Ogbami-Tete as the head of GCE? What about Samson Agliko, who has been instrumental in the banking reforms? Charles Edubwahin is an asset to government, and so are the likes of Felicia Ashley and Yofi Grant, who helped the NPP, and they were all part in drafting the NPP's manifesto. These are the men and women of caliber who willingly left their lucrative jobs in the corporate sector to serve their country. The world and country are seeing what Ken Ofori-Atta, the finance minister, and his team are doing with the economy. Their competencies and sacrifices are giving the nation an economy that can create jobs and prosperity. Ken Ofori-Atta, who contributes all his monthly salary to charity, is an example of selflessness, integrity, sacrifice, and competence. When did Michael Asare-Bediako, the competent young PA to the finance minister, become a family member of Ken Ofori-Atta? This is palpable falsehood. He is not. The Minister of Roads is not related to the president in any way. But yesterday it was put out there. Nana Asante Bediesu's mother is not on government payroll. The Ramadans worked for 2016's victory and are competent to serve. There is not a single person who has been appointed and who is not qualified to serve in the NPP. Ladies and gentlemen, let us even say that all names they have mentioned yesterday are true. Which of them have been awarded a contract or given a national asset like John Dramani Mahama did for Ibrahim? Ibrahim Mahama was given a whooping 80% of Ghana's known bauxite deposit, valued at some 200 billion. It is not family and friends, but it is about putting the office before who can both be loyal to the government and country and are competent enough to do the job. Dr. Ernest Addison is praised. We are talking about the governor, Bank of Ghana. Is praised everywhere for bringing back integrity, competence, and professionalism in the workings of the central bank. Unlike the John Dramani Mahama's era, where the Bank of Ghana governor merely because he was just a friend, he was appointed merely because he was just a friend. And the NDC did not see that yesterday. The economy is being run well because President Akufo-Addo has put in place people who can get the job done. That is what Ghanaians are interested in, and not the ranting of an opposition party that has nothing to offer but a campaign of hate and divisions. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear the NDC's alternative to free SHS. Former President Mahama became the flag bearer for the NDC just about a year ago. We have not heard from him Even a single policy, just one pair, we haven't heard. We just want to hear the NDC's alternative to NAPCO. This is a life-changing policy. And we want to hear what the NDC would have done, because they were in power for 8 years. And some of these young people were still at home. Some stayed at home for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. And this NAPCO has relieved them of the hardship. We just want to hear the NDC's alternative to the planting for food and jobs. Under the NDC, agriculture was growing backwards in the negatives. Today, planting for food and jobs has restored the image of agriculture in this country. We just want to hear the NDC's alternative to the restoration of allowances and the many policies and programs we have put in place since we came into office. This is the kind of debate we want to hear the NDC. This is the kind of debate, not the empty press conference they had yesterday, wasting everybody's time. So we are challenging the NDC that we want policy-based, ideas-based argument, not ranting and not making noise. Thank you very much for your attention.
Well, that was a very great delivery by our national youth organizer. He deserves better. We have stated clearly that Ghana cannot be taken for a ride, which he has, in fact, competently expatiated for all of us to see. Now, I believe you have questions, and we're going to give you time to ask questions so that he would competently answer those questions and continue to remind Ghanaians that in all humility, with strength, with focus, we shall deliver on the mandate that we have been given. Therefore, if you do have questions, ladies and gentlemen of the press, you are welcome to start asking your questions. However, okay, I'm just told that he would do that in Tree as well. Then after, we can have the questions. Ladies and gentlemen, again, we are going to have the National Youth Organizer, Nana B, to help us with what he did in English in Tree. Thank you so much.
Volta Region. No kwasam ni se agiyensem awon sonko a eye emabunu.
So what you're watching is the live press conference from the NPP headquarters, and amongst others, they've been addressing the concerns that were raised by the NDC at their press conference yesterday on nepotism. Of course, they've talked about the president's voter tour being completely successful, and they think that it is a way of the NDC diverting attention by releasing that bogus list, they describe it. So amongst others, they've talked about now Volta going beyond the NDC. That's the new tagline, they say, Volta beyond the NDC, considering the success of the president's voter tour. They've also talked about the Volta region being economically sidelined by past governments, so no longer belongs to the NDC, like they say. And then they've talked about schools being, left unattended to, bad roads in the Volta region, and then the president is hoping to address that situation for the people of the Volta region. So overall, they're saying that the Volta region is giving the president an assurance that they've gone beyond the NDC, and that Volta is now beyond the NDC and will go for the NPP. Then it goes on to address the press conference held by the NDC yesterday. They've talked about what the president or the former president John Dramani Mahama stands for, is the question that came up a number of times in that address by Nana Boakye, who is the national youth organizer of the NPP. They're asking that the former president gives them just one policy that he stands for, because the current president, Nana Akufo Akufo-Addo has always stood for free SHS, and that's what has been his tagline since he decided to run for presidency of this country. But what about former President Mahama? What's his policy that he stands for is a question that the NPP is asking. Now, they talked about the nepotism press conference proper that Sami Jainfi addressed yesterday. So amongst others, they've talked about the NDC throwing dust into the eyes of Ghanaians just to divert attention from what's the gains made by the president in the Volta region. So they're asking Ghanaians to ignore it, and they're saying that the NDC is not a serious and credible opposition. Amongst others too, they're saying that the NDC should give an alternative to the free SHS policy, to the NAPCO policy, and that all the persons that they say have been appointed in this family and friends government, they're saying that the family and friends tag was not originated from the NDC, but rather was not originated from the NPP, I beg your pardon, but rather from the NDC. They've mentioned Alban Bagbing, they've mentioned the current chairman of Uswan Pofo, and they're saying that he said that he's a believer of family and friends government because, of course, they are Ghanaians. They're saying that out of the 51 list that was put out by the NDC, 33 of them has no ties with the president in government, and they are saying that it is no news. Whatever the NDC put out yesterday is actually no news at all. And that's the question is, the people that they're talking about, are they qualified or not? And they're saying that they are not justifying anything, but they're saying that what happened in the NDC administration is nothing to be compared to in the NPP, but insist that it is not a justification in any way. But everything that we heard is palpable falsehood, according to Nana Boakye, and that's we should focus on things that will move the nation forward and not the diversionary tactics. And mention that the Minister of Roads has no relation whatsoever with the president. We'll go back to the press conference. Okay, so I think that's just about it. It currently is a translation into Twi that's happening at the press conference. My colleague Masola Bagba is there. Will join us in a bit on Pulse with the very latest from the NPP press conference. That's it for our live coverage of the NPP's press conference at the NPP headquarters, addressed by Nana Boakye, the National Youth Organizer. And this is by kind courtesy of the NPP. Thanks for your company.